Elias Crowley had always believed that silence was safer than kindness. But on that cold desert evening, when a faint cry for help cut through the wind, the silence inside him shattered. He found her lying beside a narrow, dusty trail, an Apache woman, young but exhausted, her leg twisted, bleeding, and her breath thin like a dying whisper. Something in her eyes, fear, pride, and an unspoken plea, pulled Elias down to his knees before he could even think. He wrapped her wound with his scarf, lifted her gently, and carried her miles back toward town. No words, just trust, and the quiet weight of a stranger depending on him. And for the first time in years, Elias felt purpose. Felt human, but he didn't know that single act would change everything. Before we continue this powerful story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Echo Stories, where every story reminds us that kindness still matters. That night, after leaving the woman safely with a traveling healer who spoke her language, Elias walked home feeling strangely lighter. He didn't expect thanks. He didn't even know her name. He just hoped she'd survive. But the next morning, just as dawn pushed, a soft gold line over the mesa, Elias froze on his porch. A mark was carved on his door. Clean, sharp, a circle crossed with 3 vertical lines. He'd seen it only once before, years back when an Apache elder warned townsfolk that this symbol meant a debt of honor had been created. Some people said it marked protection. Others said it marked danger. No one agreed. No one wanted to find out. Elias stared at it, heart thudding, unsure whether to feel blessed or afraid. By noon, people in town heard about it. They avoided him, whispering. But Elias couldn't shake the image of the woman's eyes. Brave, desperate, grateful. He walked back to the lonely trail where he'd found her, hoping for a sign, a clue. Anything. Halfway down the trail, he spotted something small tied to a mesquite branch. A handmade Apache pendant carved from bone, hanging by a thin leather cord. A message. He lifted it gently. Inside, tucked under the bone plate, he found a folded scrap of cloth marked in charcoal. You saved me. I returned your life in kind. Confused, Elias turned, and that was when he noticed it. Just beyond the ridge, where he often grazed his horse, deep wagon tracks cut into the sand. Fresh. He followed them, and saw the truth. A pair of men, outlaws, he'd crossed months earlier, had planned to ambush him at dawn, but someone had chased them off. Tracks showed a struggle. A warning shot fired. Footprints leading away into the brush, soft, light, unmistakably Apache. Elias sank to his knees. The strange mark on his door. It hadn't been a threat. It had been a promise kept. A circle with 3 lines. Honor returned. Protection given. The woman he saved had come back to save him. And suddenly Elias realized something simple but powerful. Kindness doesn't fall into the dust, replaying the past 2 days in his mind. The rescue, the pendant, the warning, none of it felt accidental. Halfway through the canyon's narrow pass, he noticed something strange. Small markers made of stacked stones placed carefully beside the trail. Not random, not natural. A signal. He dismounted and touched one gently. Fresh dust, soft impressions of fingers. Someone had left it recently, for him. He followed the trail of markers until the walls of the canyon widened into a small hidden valley, one he never knew existed. At the center of the valley, a fire pit burned low and steady. Beside it sat the injured Apache woman, her leg now wrapped in clean herbal bandages. She looked stronger, sharper, and she wasn't alone. An older Apache man stood beside her, tall and proud, with weathered lines carved into his face like the land itself. When Elias approached, neither reached for a weapon. They simply watched him as though they had been expecting him. The elder spoke first, his voice deep and calm. You walk with a restless heart, Crowley. Elias nodded, unsure how they knew his name. Those men, he said quietly. The ones who came to harm me. Why were they after me again? The woman, her dark hair braided with thin threads of copper, met his eyes. We do not know their reasons, she replied softly. But we know what they intended. And we know you deserved warning. Elias swallowed. I didn't help you expecting anything back. The elder stepped closer, studying him with an intensity that felt like reading, a book he didn't know he was writing. That, the elder said, is why the mark was carved. He motioned toward the pendant hanging at Elias's neck. In our way, a circle means the world we all share. Its lines show those who walk with honor. By saving her, you stepped inside that circle, and when danger came, we walked inside yours. Elias felt a heaviness in his chest, an emotion he couldn't fully name. Respect, gratitude, maybe something like belonging. And the outlaws? Elias asked. Will they return? The elder nodded slowly. You pushed them once. They came back for pride. They will come. It travels. It returns, sometimes from the very people the world tells you to fear. He closed his eyes, breathing in the cool desert wind. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone. The pendant hung warm in his hand, a reminder that compassion survives in places we least expect, and comes back to us in ways we never see coming. Elias didn't sleep much that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the carved symbol on his door glowing in the moonlight. A quiet reminder that someone out there was watching over him, but with that comfort came a deeper unease. Why had the outlaws returned? And how long before they tried again? The next morning, he saddled his horse and headed toward the far canyon, hoping to find answers, maybe even find her. The trail was silent except for sparrows cutting through the cool air, and Elias kept again for vengeance. The woman shifted, wincing slightly. Which means, she added, you should not face them alone. Elias blinked, stunned. You would help me? The elder's expression softened, just barely. Protection, he said, is a circle, not a straight road. You stepped toward us. We now step toward you. A warm gust rolled through the valley, carrying the faint smell of sage. Elias felt something inside him settle, like the weight he'd carried for years finally found a place to rest. But then came the twist he wasn't expecting. The woman motioned for him to sit. There is more you must know, she said. Those men were not after you alone. They followed me too. Elias stiffened. What? Why? The elder answered for her. Because she carries something they want. Something they believe is worth blood. The woman reached into a small hide pouch and revealed a carved wooden totem, small, ancient, glowing faintly with soot and age marks. Elias frowned. What is it? The elder's voice dropped to a whisper. A map to land they wish to claim. Land that must not fall into their hands. The air tightened. The message was clear. Elias hadn't stepped into danger by accident. Kindness had tied him to something bigger, something sacred, something worth protecting. And now he wasn't just part of their story. He was part of their fight. The elder looked toward the canyon entrance, the sun casting long shadows across the valley floor. Prepare yourself, Crowley. The next time those men return, they will not come from anger. They will come for conquest. Elias felt his heartbeat steady. This time he wasn't running. This time he wasn't alone. The woman met his gaze, a faint, determined smile forming. Your kindness saved my life, she said. Now it may save many more. And as the fire crackled softly between them, Elias realized this wasn't the continuation of a story. It was the beginning of a war he never expected to fight, and a bond he never expected to earn.